Have you ever tried making a combination model from your Bionicle sets before? Well, I tried this with the Mahri sets, taking 3 of the Toa Mahri and combining them into some kind of animal, some kind of thing. So today in this video, we're going to be taking a look at this guy right here, who's quite tall, a little hard to fit in frame, but this is a combination of Jaller Mahri, Nuparu Mahri, and Hewkii Mahri, and it's definitely an interesting one. So I took a lot of inspiration off of both a praying mantis, but also several of the other Rahi-like sets and combination models that we saw in 2007. And I think overall this does a pretty good job of looking the part, looking quite intimidating, while still being a little bit goofy at the same time. The head build is quite inspired with the little eye stalks using the trans neon green brick pieces from the Nuparu set that kind of hide away on that set. Very easy to forget. But the actual model itself incorporates 2 of the masks here, with the Jaller mask at the base sort of fading that red color into the Keat orange or yellow on the base here. The second mask here, being the Hewkii mask, is actually just used pretty much to align and hold up the weapons, which can also fold back if you want to. But yeah, so they will lock in place in that position as well. And so it does carry 2 of the blasters here. I don't know why I can't think of the name of those blasters right now, but I know they have a name. And yeah, so probably the most interesting thing about this build is the body itself, because it uses some really interesting techniques inside of there, from the base where it connects 2 sets of hips to a arm here, a actual Anika leg piece, and then runs that through the crab body pieces from the Jaller set and upward into the torso. It's a really weird and interesting build overall, but I think it looks quite nice. It's very inhuman looking, and that obviously lends very well to the fact that it is not a human or humanoid mock, but I think that given the amount of pieces that went into a set like this, it's actually quite large. It stretches those parts out in several different directions, with this sort of tail at the back end here, and then of course, you know, all the way up into that head. So it walks on these open sockets from the Nuparu set. In fact, basically the entirety of the legs are from the Nuparu set, but it does have these 3 jointed legs here to give you a decent amount of poseability. That said, given the heft of a model like this, it is a little bit difficult to stand up. So I really like curving the leg back and forth like that. That gives it a lot more stability and really helps it to stand on a desk or in the background of some of these videos here. The neck can, of course, be turned. It has a decent amount of articulation, so let's go ahead and look at that. The head is actually ball jointed on both sides, so it can just look up and down. Nothing terribly fancy going on there, but the neck is on a ball joint, and so it can move a little bit. It is a tad limited just because of the connection with the 2 Metru legs there in black. That is then connected to the torso with a Metru leg, and actually uses one of the blaster pieces. I don't know why I can't think of the name. It's really escaping me right now. But to actually anchor that to a set of hips and then into the body itself. And interestingly enough, all 3 of these sets use hips in black, which is kind of funny. So don't know why I noticed that, but hey, whatever. Going from there, you then run into the crab bodies as mentioned, but the torso itself has the arms that are bent in 2 different directions, as you would expect from a praying mantis like build, I guess. That is most everything for the articulation. There's these little spike pieces on here that can be moved around a little bit. The tail can move around a little bit as well, which is just this long sword here. And of course, the head is also anchored onto a socket, so it can move, or the mask is anchored on a socket, so it can move around. Technically, the back head is also anchored onto a socket, so there's definitely a lot of things you can play around with, a lot of things you can pose in the model. Would I recommend building it? I still think that the 3 sets individually hold up better than this does, but I do think that this fits reasonably well with 2007's aesthetic. The color scheme is very nice, but overall, being as large as it is, it's quite a heavy model. Maybe I would make some modifications and some changes to it, because I really love the body build itself, but lean more heavily into it being a bipedal type of build instead of this sort of insectoid looking build, and maybe go from there. I think with that kind of design in mind, then I would build it. As it stands right now, I don't know. It's fun. It's different. It's unique. It looks interesting. I don't think it's on the same level as like Zyglak in terms of interesting things, but yeah, it's a good one. I like it. So that's pretty much it for this video, though. Hopefully you guys found this one exciting and interesting. I don't know if I'll do a build breakdown video on this because it is a little bit difficult, but I may at least release the studio file for you guys to build it for yourself as well on the Discord. And then, of course, as always, you can find my Discord and Instagram linked in the description below, and I will see you all in the next one. Be sure to subscribe. Later.